Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Mohammad Ashraf Abdullah. Matric numbers 278865. The following is BEER3043 research methods. Individual video presentation on the factors affecting the demand for nasi kandar among UUM students. This slide shows the abstract of our study, which is to investigate the factors affecting the demand of nasi kandar among UM students by focusing on the characteristics of UM students and all the independence variables. We have found 3 problem statements in our study as listed in this slide. The research questions of the studies are: what are the demographic characteristics of UM students that affect the demand for nasi kandar? Does gender differences affect the demand among UM students? Does the location, variation of menu, operating hours and price affect the demand for nasi kandar? Does the location, variation of menu, operating hours and price have a significant relationship with the demand for nasi kandar? In these studies, we have used 2 main theories, which is the theories of demand and theories of consumer. The concept of demand theory emphasizes the relationship between consumer demand and the price of goods and services in a market that is also symbolized by demand curve, which slope horizontally downward as the quantity of the goods and services increases. The demand theory is used in these studies to investigate the variable affecting UM students' demand for nasi kandar. Next, this studies applies the consumer theory to investigate the factors affecting demand for nasi kandar among UM students, as the demand function for a particular item or services describe how changes in income and the cost of all other commodities impact the quantity consumed of that good or services. The empirical studies are known as empirical analysis that differs from previous studies related to the studies. Based on the empirical studies, cafe location significantly influenced the demand factor stated by Ibrahim in 2017. According to Zobiatis and Pribitz in 2007 study, a restaurant or cafe will have more interesting menu if it provides a variety of dishes and drinks. According to research by Shuhaida in 2003, a restaurant hours have significant impact on consumer demand. Customers prefer dining at a place that are open constantly. Lastly, a meal is more likely to be great demand if the price is low, according to a 2009 research by Lily White. The theoretical framework shows that the demand for nasi kandar is the dependent variable while other variables become the independent, which is the cafe location, variation of menu, operating hours, and the meal price. In the studies, the method that we have used is the questionnaire to collect and analyze the data that is distributed online in Google Forms through online platforms such as Facebook and WhatsApp. We have collected a total of 300 sample size from the survey that distributed online, and all the data is analyzed by frequency distribution, t-test, one-way ANOVA, and Pearson correlation. From the data that we have collected in demographic background, gender shows that there are 174 male respondents or 58%, which is higher than female respondents with a total of 126 respondents or 42%. Race show that Malay respondents is the highest total respondents with a total of 160 respondents or 53.3%, while the lower respondent falls into the other race with a total of 8 respondents or 2.7%. The age between 21 to 23 years old has the most respondents, which is 156 respondents or 52%, while the age above 26 years old has the least respondent with a total of 28 respondents or 99.3%. Next, the respondent income between 500 ringgit to 1000 ringgit is the highest total respondent with a total value of 140 respondents or 46.7%, and the respondent with income above 2000 ringgit has the total amount of respondents with 16 respondents of 5.3%. The highest value of respondent that is spent on NASI KANDAR is less than 100 ringgit with a total amount of 140 respondents or 46.7%, and the respondent has spent between 201 ringgit to 300 ringgit is the lowest with the total respondents of 36 or 12%. The highest numbers of respondents is from the student accommodation track wins with a total of 42 respondents or 14%. The lower number of respondents is from the student accommodation SME with a total of 6 respondents or 2%. Lastly, the higher frequencies of respondents buying NASI KANDAR is twice per month with a total of 110 respondents or 36.7%, while the lower frequencies of respondents buying NASI KANDAR is never with a total of 24 respondents or 8%. For the independent sample t-test, the first variable is location. The null hypothesis is there is no significant difference of location among gender. The alternative hypothesis is that there is a significant difference in location among gender. The result of p-value is 0.978, which is more than 0.05. Therefore, the null hypothesis is not rejected. The second variable is variation of menus. The null hypothesis is there is no significant difference of variation among gender. The alternative hypothesis is there is a significant difference in variation among gender. The result of p-value is 0.856, which is more than 0.05. Therefore, the null hypothesis is not rejected. The third variable is operating hours. The null hypothesis is there is no significant difference of operating hours among gender. The alternative hypothesis is there is a significant difference in operating hours among gender. The result of p-value is 0.236, which is more than 0.05. Therefore, the null hypothesis is not rejected. And the last one is the price. The null hypothesis is there is no significant difference of price among gender, while the alternative hypothesis is there is a significant difference in price among gender. The result of p-value shows that 0.638, which is more than 0.05. So therefore, the null hypothesis is not rejected. In this slide, for the one-way ANOVA, it shows that all the variables, which is the location, variation, operating hours, and price, shows a significant value of less than 0.001 for each variable, which is less than 0.05. Hence, the null hypothesis for each variable is rejected, which shows that there are significance between all the independent variables toward the dependent variable, which is the demand for NASI KANDAR. In the Pearson correlation analysis, the null hypothesis is there is no significant relationship between location, variation, operating hours, and price. For the alternative hypothesis is there is a significant relationship between location, variation, operating hours, and price. Based on the result of the analysis, we found that all variables have a positive relationship. Therefore, the null hypothesis is rejected. The major goal of this study is finding the relationship between demand for NASI KANDAR among UM students and the variables that affect it. All the independent variables in these studies are significant, with the dependent variable at 5% level of significance, according to the research that has been done. As a result, several significant contributions that can be made through these investigations have been described, and recommendations for how to make this study better have been provided for researchers who want to carry out this study in the future. And that's all from me. Thank you.